I need to check my membership. Billing. Good morning. Good afternoon. Just warmed up some pizza. This essay's hungry. Go Seahawks. What's up, Glitch? Glitch, good job. Good job on your part. One, standing up for yourself, but two, doing it just enough. And also, you don't come across as an attention whore. So kudos on that. It's not your fault that Fox keeps singling you out. Like, you're not even encouraging that. Right? Anyways, I just want to say that. Good morning. I have pizza from last night. I'm eating. And I got a bad habit. I do got an energy drink. I think I'm going to quit doing those. I kind of want to take I'm not drinking that much lately because I'm not screaming as much lately. I kind of want to take like a month, maybe even like two months, and just do like a healthy food, no alcohol, pair it with exercise. I know it sounds good. I want to see if I can like tune my body up, after beating for so long. Exactly. Just a fan. What's worse, attention whoring or trauma dumping? What's trauma dumping? Is that getting attention by telling everybody the bad shit? I don't know. Like trying to get sympathy, being like, I don't know. I think trauma dumping is worse. Trauma dumping. Yeah, the woe is me stuff is, it's kind of like a begging thing. I think everybody's entitled to like a little bit of it. More so if it's like kind of like realistic. Realistic, and then the chat can kind of be involved in it. Maybe even be able to help if something weird happen, like, hey, I just got in a car accident, but dragging it out, it gets old. And it's more or less, the trauma dumping is more like, it's just manipulative, right? And trying to get the sympathy votes. and having everybody going, yeah, you could do it. So Glitch, I don't know if you're still there, but Glitch, STF, the Little Miss STFU was she was on a different website that we were on a long time ago. And somehow it came back to YouTube. But she's seen me for a while. She just recently came back. Or not came back here, but she's got her YouTube stuff going on. Phone's going off. I don't know what's going on. Got it. Wait, something else. What's going on? Weekly report. You used your phone 47 minutes less than last week. Weird. Got alert. It says I used my phone 47 minutes less than last week. I don't know if battery was just dead for 47 minutes longer or what that means, but it's pretty precise over 7 days. What's up, Monsoon? Party like a rock star. I just got 2 slices of pizza. Rock star. Gotta hang out. Kind of thinking if I should open my new toy. Not a sex toy. Don't use those. Got a robot vacuum. Yeah, I'm like a teenager. Rock star and pizza first thing in the morning. Well, I've been awake for a while. I've been awake a few hours. Somewhere around 3 hours, give or take 20 minutes. I've been awake. I've been saying sleep arrhythmia. I've been saying sleep arrhythmia, but that's totally wrong. Arrhythmia has to do with like your heart. I look at it as like what circadian rhythm thing. Anyways, I just say sleep rhythm. My sleep rhythm is good right now. I went to sleep about just a little bit after midnight. I think I woke up about 6:30. Not drinking, but I felt good. I think I'll continue that. Join society a bit. I'm not still in Seattle. What do you mean still in Seattle? No, not in Seattle. I was from in that area though. That's where I grew up. They got a lot of crust on this pizza. They should have had the toppings go out a little further. Monsoon. You know who you remind me of, Monsoon? Somebody I knew a long time ago named Penguin. Named Penguin, would lie and say they were a Rothschild. Describe him briefly. Well, he was kind of bizarre. Like you. God damn. No. You've been practicing at chess? When I was first learning chess, I was watching videos and stuff like that. What's up, Spider? Spider, you ready to play some chess, dude? Speak of the chess devil. When I was first learning, I was like watching videos, this and that, and then it just became too daunting. Now I just play like 1 or 2 games a day or so. Yes. What's up, Kid Murray? Go. Pegasus will ride again. We got a picture of Black Charlie Brown. Yeah, you're bizarre. I'm not going to get in a debate with you about it. It's all opinions. I'll give you a quick reason, though, of why I said that. It's like the communication style. Kind of like just short, quick stuff. Bizarre. Short, bizarre stuff. Ugh. Drinking the Rockstar like a beer. So it's like really going down the hatch real fast. So I got some good news. Kind of random, but it's good. It's official. My cat plays fetch. I've always heard about a cat playing fetch. Hey, cat plays fetch. I've seen people on streams or cats playing fetch. What's up, Kane Cat? But my cat plays fetch. 100%. And the way I knew I made it official is it was bringing me back. I had like a couple things that it likes, but I was throwing it from here and I was bringing it back. I'll drop it. But what I did is I walked to the other side of the apartment. And then the cat followed me over there and wanted it. And then I threw it again. And then the cat brought it back to me instead of to the couch. You know what I mean? So it's official. Cat's bringing a toy to me to throw it, as opposed to it's just like I'm getting lucky, and then it's just like coming where I'm at, you know. But, so cheers to that. Cat plays fetch. Cat's sleeping right now. I want to wake her up. But that's another thing, because the cat ate a whole can of wet food, and I don't want to like let her get her good sleep. Do you still got that demon lady Mel's Bells trapped in a glass jar? Yep. But it's not a glass jar. It's like a hologram thing, and she appears in the back like Zordon, Power Rangers. But that's not for another hour. Spring is right around the corner. Now we just got one more month. Before you know it, the weather's going to be hot. Hot, hot. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the spring. Oh, it's cool in the spring. But man, there's been some springs over here in Texas where it's hot. It's like 100 something degrees just in the spring. It's like shit, man. Kind of a waste. It's like goes from winter to summer. Because I know that Canadians, they have like, they got some crazy winters. You know, winters it's cold. Yeah, I'm in Texas. The winters are cold. They get a lot of snow. And I'm thinking, man, that's a lot of snow, right? But summertime is like, I'm down south, so it's just like it's hot. I don't think you're blocked, Queenie. Dummy, or am I still blocked? Dummy. Since you asked. Let me check my block list. I don't think anybody's really blocked. I usually check it after every stream or every other stream. Settings. I haven't been in a while. Okay. Oh, the only people banned is Burns. I don't think that Queenie you've been blocked very often here at all. Might get. Let me check my block list on the StreamYard. That, however, yeah, I got 2 people banned on StreamYard, and I don't want them popping up in the back. I don't even want to see them. Need some time. Little THME. Well, yeah, she was trying to kill me back then. You're blowing her cover. So of course she's gonna block you, dude. And I'm not sure how far up north you are in Canada, but what's weird about Canada also is like, because like you got the U.S., and then you got Canada, and you got the population's kind of like a lot real down below. And then Canada just is so huge, right? But it's like they only populate as far as they can go before it just gets so cold where like it's just like there's no point in living any more further up north. They're like, fuck that. Oh no. And nobody wants to live somewhere where if your car breaks down, you're at risk of dying. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Freeze to death, starve to death, whatever. Shit, in Canada, I'm sure everybody drives around with extra blanket in their trunk. If I lived in Canada and I was driving in the cold like that, I'd have me a Coleman stove. I'd have me a Coleman stove. You can crack some windows and fire that thing up. I'd much rather die of small chance of carbon monoxide poisoning than freeze to death for sure. I know people are going to be like, yeah, but you die carbon monoxide, but probably not. Happy full moon day. I didn't know it was a full moon. Today. Today. Is that why everybody's acting crazy? High winged stars. I saw you doing your horror scopes. Lotto retirement strategist. I need to talk to you, dude. I need to figure out kind of like a long term strategy and what states are better in the long run. You're going to get a constant, you know, purchase of tickets. I was tuning in. I was tuning in and I was just getting ready to tell you what my star sign was or my astro sign was. And then I got an important phone call. Carbon monoxide poisoning. That would be the way to go, though, if you were. You pretty much just get real sleepy, I think. Can you give me a hint? I'll tell you what, Wingstar. If you vow to me to never tell anybody what my star sign is, I'll tell you what my star sign is. But this is something that's like, If you give me this a star sign promise, okay. Well, I don't know if you're on Discord or not. I'll just tell you. I'll tell you in there. Say what my star sign is, and then you'll have it. I'll even give you the year. I'll even give you the year of my birthday. That way you can really get the things aligned. That way you can get all the Mercury and retrograde talk. Tennessee zoning laws might be favorable for someone on a budget. Ooh, that's good. Do I have to go to Tennessee to buy the tickets, or can I buy them online? And Pluto is my favorite planet. I don't know why they're talking about it not being a planet. It's a planet. Just kidding. Pluto. I know. I always thought that was weird that just in the in our lifetime, I'm in school and it's a planet, right? It's like here you got the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And it was like what it is. That's those are the planets. And then they're like, and now you feel Pluto's not a planet. It's like, it just seems weird. And it's not that it's weird. Like I don't really care personally. It doesn't affect my life, but it's just weird to me. How school books and stuff like that can just be changing on a dime like that. I want to get a T-shirt with a picture of Pluto on it. Just put Pluto because it may not be a planet anymore, but it doesn't need to be forgotten. In North Dakota, you can establish residency by staying at a campground. Good for the nomad that needs insurance. Living on a boat is cheaper than van life. Yo, I bet. Van life just seems more convenient, easier, familiar. I've seen people living at like these marinas and they just have a boat and it's parked and they just pretty much live there. I'm not sure if the rule is you got to undock the boat and leave for a certain amount of time or something. Houseboat. Just seems dangerous though. You could be on a houseboat, but imagine being on a houseboat, and they're like, hurricanes coming. And then what? Just like sitting there, like, well, how do you do? So, a houseboat would probably be better on the West Coast if you're going to do it. Feel this Rockstar energy drink coursing through my veins. Every beat of my heart. I swear. By the sun and the moon and the stars. I swear. No, I'll be right back. That's what you do. You make damn sure that motor starts. Well, I guess if you find out a hurricane's coming, like if you're gonna get ample warning, and you just got to have enough gas to get you up the coast where the hurricane's not gonna hit. I guess that's all you can do. You'd have to drive like I don't know. You'd have to take your boat and go up about 100 miles. I don't know how long it would take to dodge a storm, if even 100 miles is enough. But thing about work on people's boats is like, I guess if we're familiar, that'd be good. I don't have any boat experience at all, but I imagine a lot of it would just be the same shit. You know, battery stuff, ignition problems, motor problems. Leaky windows or patch this. I don't know. I'm not working on people's boats. I don't know how to do that. Too old to be getting into doing that. It's not that I'm too old to be getting into doing that, but it's just not. It's not my path right now. I don't live in a place where there are boats. You know what I'm saying? Nah, me. I got a new phone a few months ago. I'll tell you what. Awesome. It's a cheap phone, but it was more than what I needed. Yeah. Thing about diesel mechanic though is I think that things are easier visual wise because you can see things better, maybe, and like get to it. But the thing about diesel mechanic is the parts are just a lot heavier, you know. Where in a car, you might be able to grab something with one hand and push it somewhere, hold it, and then put it on. Whereas a diesel mechanic, this part weighs it's just a lot more steel, a lot more part to the part, and it's just heavy. You know, I think diesel mechanic is more of like a young man's job. Young. It's just the parts are just heavier. They're heavy. But working on vehicles, parts, motors, especially with the internet, anybody can do it. When something happens, it's usually just a part you got to change out. And what makes it difficult is can you get to it? And the answer is you can always get to it. But it's like, fuck. There's always like one little block or stop thing. When you're working on a car, it said iron is heavy and tricky to move without damaging someone's boat. Yeah, there you go. I bet. Imagine doing something with the part, and it falls, punches a hole, and you're like, well, abandon ship, lunchtime. I'll be back. I've never like looked at boat motors and stuff like that though. Like when I think of boat motor, I'm picturing just like that, like a big outboard motor where they're doing like that. But boat motors, like I think there's a lot more involved with that than that. Right, kitty? I can tell a cat's sleeping good when you pet the cat and it doesn't even budge. Cat's like, man, I'm gonna sleep right here. Have you? Did you come into this room? A lot of retirement strategists. I remember seeing you before. In fact, let me subscribe you. Well, I was probably in my car streaming. I think you were streaming while I was on uh, driving around my car. I remember you came in before and I asked about you. Like, have you been here? Or sure it was. Let's go to your channel. Let's see. Let's go. Let's get you subscribed. This is definitely a return visit from you. You have 25 subscribers. You know what that means? Is that you're a funny guy. It probably also means that you're like you could have streamed. I don't know if you've streamed before, but probably also means that you're part of a community. Not okay, not a content creator. Because I wasn't sure if we streamed like once, twice. Boom, got your subscribers. But 25 subscribers that you have is kind of an odd one. Because like as a chatter with no content, you get your subscribers if you're funny or like just funny, good, like good in the chat. Then the streamer might. Anyways, and it looks like you've been on since what 2022, and I'm your 26th subscriber. I've seen some funny, stupid videos coming up from people that only have like 2 subscribers. A lot of times when people subscribe, no, not subscribe. A lot of times when people with like 25 or under subscribers, when they stream, it's usually live, and they're mad about something. Something bothered them. They're mad about something. Something happened, and they're streaming. They start their stream. They're kind of ranting about something. They're bitching about something, and then they'll delete it. It's like it never happened, but you don't know this until unless you got these people subscribed with like 5, 10, 15 subscribers. But it happens. Oh, did you come over here from a random YouTube and then you came back? Interesting. I like that. This is how we do. Oh, so here, strategic. So there you go. Yeah, there's everybody's kind of busy. Somebody might have mentioned you. I think I was doing a mobile stream. So when it's mobile stream, I don't know if you watch streams and you like you sifting through live streams going on your phone or whatever. That's the kind of stream I was doing when it came in. I was going to ask, was that when I had that dude in the car? So when I was driving around, I had that dude in the car in the passenger seat sleeping. I remember I abruptly had to go. I think I titled my stream Uber or something like that. I think I had to go, shut it off, or no, I don't even know. But yep, I remember that now. It was cold outside, snowy. You know what happened with that dude? So I was pulling into my apartment. It was probably about 2:30 in the morning. I'm pulling in. It's cold outside. It's like 10 degrees outside, 9, somewhere around there. And I know it's cold. Some guys outside wear jeans, and a hoodie. He's flagging me down. Hey, hey, hey. And my window is already down. I usually drive with my window down. I can just see better. Oh, the cat was doing something. Anyways, so he's talking to me, and then I slowed down. He looked adamant about getting my attention. He's in the complex. I was like, I was thinking maybe he lives there. Anyways, I was just like, okay, I'll see what this guy wants. Maybe he just wants a couple cigarettes. You can just give him some cigarettes and that's it. But he was like, hey, can you help me pop my CV axle back in? Because I just need somebody else to like help, turn the wheel, hold the flashlight. I just need some quick help to pop the CV axle back in. He's like, well, my hands are cold. I'm kind of like hesitant. I said, I was like, all right, let's do it. So I got out there. His van's parked at some weird angle. I guess he got it towed in there. Someone with a strap pulled him in. So he's not like in a parking spot. It's just kind of like in a weird angular thing. But pulled up next to him. We're kind of messing around with it with what he had. He was trying to pop the original one back in. So he's trying to do something, then pop the original one back in. Didn't work. Turn the wheel, didn't work. He was cold. He was like, "Yeah, you probably got family, or you probably got, you probably wanting to get back home." I was like, "Yeah." I don't know if I can give you a blanket, or really didn't want him coming over. Not. But I can just tell he was cold. I could tell he was cold. His hands, the way he's talking, shivering. Oh, plus on top of that, his van doesn't have heat because his heater core's out in the van. So the heater core's out in the van, and his windshield is like completely iced over, right? Like an ice glaze. So I know that his heater core doesn't work, even when he started it. But he's like, "Well," he's like, "Do you care if I just go in your car for a few minutes just to warm up?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I got it. We got in, started the car. We're just kind of bullshitting, talking. And I had like an extra blanket back there, actually. Or I wasn't a blanket, it was like a big flannel thing. So I gave him the flannel. He was sitting there, and he had a bottle of liquor. Just kind of swigging it a little bit. Nothing crazy. He wasn't really too drunk, but we're just sitting there bullshitting. And then about an hour in, and he's kind of dozing off. It was the CV. It was the one on the front. It was the front wheel axle, that bar with like the gears on it. That goes into the wheel hub, and then the transmission. Somehow that's what was messed up. When he had a new one, he had the new one ready to put on. And he was sitting in the car. It was probably like an hour and a half went by. And I'm thinking, shit, dude. I was like, my car's running. I was like, I don't want to just be sleeping in this car right now. And I told him, I was like, well, yeah, it was kind of a pain to work. And it was just cold. Yeah, it was just cold. I was like, hey, I could leave for a bit. I was like, I'll leave for about an hour. I can come back and pick you up. I was like, you could sleep on the couch. You know what I mean? I was like, I can leave. I'll come back in about an hour. I can pick you up and you can sleep on the couch. He was like, nah, that's cool. We'll just stay here. He's like, shit. I don't know. He's just scared to be cold again or what. But so then a little bit later, I was thinking, like, trying to get things going. So I gave him the option for delivering. I said, how about this? I'll give you the option. I was like, I can drop you off at your van right now, or I was like, I don't care if you stay in that passenger seat while I deliver food, right? While I go do Uber, you can stay in that passenger seat and I'll go deliver. He goes, all right, I'll stay in here. So that's where that started. I was like, all right. So we were in the car about an hour and a half. It was getting to be about 3:30 or 4. I was like, all right. So he just kicked the seat back. And I turned on the app. And instantly I got one for like 40 bucks or 38. I don't even remember what it was. But it was a crazy night. It was almost like a $40 order right off the bat. So I drove, did it. He's kind of awake, car door opening and closing. I got a few orders. I did about 4 or 5 of them, but they're all good paying. probably made like $150 in like 4 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours or so. Probably about 3.5 hours. Like, shit. So, anyways, yeah. And then I got one of the final orders was kind of close back to the apartment. I kind of had it on, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't getting no orders, nothing good. I was like, okay, whatever. But so I just said, hey, the sun was right about to come up. So I just told him, hey, at this point, I'm about to kick him out. I said, hey, I got to go home. Well, actually, what it was, he had a blanket and some clothes from some girl because he was visiting. He knew some girl at this apartment. He knew some girl. I don't know the whole story, but whatever the story is, he wasn't allowed to be inside that apartment because otherwise he would have been in there. You know what I mean? But anyways, he had some clothes, blankets, shit, and like a big garbage bag. So I drove him to pick up that stuff. So we had it. Anyways, I just dropped him off at his van. I said, hey, I'm going to go home and get some sleep. And then when I wake up, I'll come back and we'll work on your van. He's like, okay. He's coming back? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Okay, man, I need your help. Anyways, so I went home. And I went on the computer for a little bit. The sun was coming up. It was getting light. And I was tired, but not that tired. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to sit over here. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to sit at home and try to go to sleep and wake up at what, 2 in the afternoon or 1 in the afternoon after being awake for a long time. I said, I said, fuck it. So I was probably at home for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. About 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And I just went back. I got my tools ready, got my gun. I have an impact wrench. I have a, not quarter inch, but I have a half-inch impact gun. Half-inch impact gun, jump starter, grinder, angle grinder. I grabbed that. We went over there, and he fucked up his spindle nut. He has a grinder, angle grinder. He cut it. He cut the spindle nut. He didn't realize that there was a thing in there that you got to bend out. The spindle nut has like a little metal tab that you bend in, like to lock it in place, right? So it's like you lock it, and then you bend like this little metal flap thing goes down. That's what keeps it locked. He didn't know that. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was kind of like, it wasn't like a cotter pin, but it was kind of a similar deal. You have to it'd be like if you get like a little tiny screwdriver and you got to like hammer it, and then it bends into this groove that keeps it from coming out. But anyways, he didn't see that. He didn't know how to take that out. I'm not sure what his deal was, but the way he was trying to fix it, that I noticed. And he did all this stuff earlier that day before we went out driving. But anyways, he cut it clean off sideways. So what that did was it made it to where there was nothing to bite on. There was nothing to bite on, so you couldn't stick the socket over and unscrew it. And it just sucked. It was retarded. And I'm thinking, dude. So I had my angle grinder. Luckily, that's what saved the day. And I took one battery over there, an angle grinder. The other one was on the charger. That's why. But we got it, looking at it. I was like, okay, we got to cut the rest of that bolt off because there's a little bit of the bolt on the threads. So anyways, we cut it. I had to go in. And I had to cut into his rotor. A little bit just to get that fucking bolt cut through. So I cut it. It was still kind of tight. And he didn't like that I cut his rotor a little bit. He was kind of scared. I'm like, dude, there's no way you're getting this off unless if you cut the rotor a little bit. You have to dig into the rotor a little bit to get the depth you need. You know what I mean? Because he's thinking about like grinding it on the inside. And it's like, there's no way. You're going to be there for all day trying to grind that out. So it's just not going to do it. So he was doing it. I got the angle grinder disc, and it's like a cutting disc. And he's over there trying to use it for like kind of like a grinder. He's like, he's poking it in and he's using it as kind of, he's trying to pry this piece out. I'm thinking, dude, I'm standing way back because this thing's going to fucking explode any minute. There's no guard on it. I said, look, dude, I was like, what you're doing right here ain't going to work. So that's not what it needs to be done. Like, it's already cut here. So then what happened was we just got a tiny screwdriver. I cut it through and I stuck it in, started prying it, and then the nut started moving. Like, good, hell yeah. So the nut started moving. It was pretty loose. It only had to come off like 2 or 3 threads. Anyways, we got that nut off. It was like, boom, off. Then we just took off like the control arm. Not sure what it is. Jacked up the tire, took the tire off, control arm, then just popped in the new piece. The problem is, I was trying to remove the other CV axle. I'm not sure what the tips and tricks are for removing the other CV axle, and he's kind of just going at it with this crowbar thing. Pop, trying to pop it out, you know. Basically, he's putting the crowbar between the CV thing and the transmission, popping it. So he's got the long crowbar. He's in there, and then he'd take a little break, and I'd get in there with some other little pry bar type thing. I was trying to pry it out. By the time we get the CV thing out, it starts to come out, and first thing it does when it starts to come out, which is good news, is it started leaking transmission fluid. That's how you know we're making progress with it, is it started leaking transmission fluid. And I looked on my phone, and it said, it's going to leak transmission fluid. So I was like, he got scared, it's leaking transmission fluid. And I said, it's cool. You know, it's going to leak like kind of like what's there. It's not going to like all pour out. But anyways, we kept going with it. Get the CV axle out finally. It comes out. And then he points out there's a black seal. There's a black rubber seal that you can see plain as day right there. And the problem with this black seal is it's all fucked up from the banging and the hitting and stuff. And it's like you can just tell that the seal has got like a bend in it. And it's just not good. It's not good. He's talking about, damn, I should have bought a seal. You know, you're supposed to buy the CV axle and the seal, but he didn't buy the seal. Might have been broke. I'm not sure what it was, but had no seal. A new one to put on. So we put it on there with the old one. Yeah, we'll just put it on there with the old one. I was like, okay. He's trying to put it on. He couldn't. I got in there. You know, boom. It slipped in. I was like, okay, good. It's in. Slap it all back together. Start the car. It works. It's running. It's running good. It's perfect. It's like, great. You know, wheels turning. It's going back and forth. And then he looks down there, gets out and looks down there and goes, yeah, there's transmission fluid down there. He goes, I'm just going to get some stop leak. I didn't think anything of it because I didn't look up. Right. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. If you need stop leak, that's never going to work. But anyways, he drove off. Car was running good. I was like, cool. But the thing is, when he drove off, you know how like in cartoons when they poke the fucking paint can with a screwdriver to try to find out where someone's driving to, you know, to spy on them? That happened. It was a trail of transmission fluid just following the van. I'm thinking, dude, this guy's not going to get very far with a leak like that. This is pouring out. You know what I mean? This isn't like just a leak where it's like a drip, tiny little drips. This is like, as far as he's driving, that's where the stream's at. I'm thinking, shit, dude. So I hurried up and got into my car. And I drove and I cut him off. I passed him. I said, hey, dude. He rolls down his window. And I said, hey, dude. I was like, you're leaking transmission fluid really bad right now. He goes, I know. And he goes, I'm just gonna go get some stop leak. Yeah. He goes, I'm just gonna go get some stop leak. I was like, you're just gonna go get stop leak? He goes, yeah. And he looked like he's in a rush. I said, okay. And then he took off, left out of the complex. And he has my phone number. And I was hoping that he was not going to call. And I was debating whether to even answer any weird calls because he's going to be stranded. He's going to blow the transmission. It's just going to quit working. It's just going to go, whatever's going to happen. It's just not going to work. He's going to make it to the place to get stop leak. He's probably going to, I don't know what he's going to do, but the thing is it would suck to have to take apart what we had put together, right? It would suck to have to take apart what we had put together, but it wasn't that hard. The hardest part was grinding off and getting that fucking spindle nut off. That was the hardest part. That took the longest. That looked like that was like the most daunting. Other than that, everything was straightforward. Plus, I had the impact gun. It was like 3 things we took off the tie rod and like 2 bolts. It's like it was like that quick. Bolts out, bolts out, bolts out. But anyways, if it was me, I would have just took the time and said, all right, let's take it all back apart, put it all back together again. Just really try to put the seal the best way we can. You know what I mean? But he just wanted to get out of there. I felt bad because he looks like a guy that's just down on his luck. And a blown transmission, losing the vehicle with all that shit in there. Because he had a lot of stuff in that van, a lot of tools, lawnmower. It just looked like a bunch of stuff like for like a jack of all trades kind of thing. But I kind of did what I could, but and he was thankful. I don't know if he would have just felt bad that I would have helped him. I don't know, but anyways, hopefully he's okay. That's it. He's gone. I know it's kind of a long-winded, boring story, but that pretty much explains the dude that was in my complex. I think the transmission's done too. I feel bad. I think it's done too. I think he can make it to an auto parts store, which may or may not be open at that time. Another thing is it's snowy outside. So you got to kind of drive slow in order to be safe. But while you're in a rush, trying to hurry up and get somewhere because the transmission's fucking up, I could see him getting into some kind of a wreck. You could probably put some kind of a stop leak in the transmission. I don't think you're supposed to. But stop leak is like minor repair, like of like stopping some kind of like a small leak that might have occurred over time. But stop leak's not going to fix what a gasket would do. Your coolant line is leaking? What do you mean your coolant line? Like your hose? if your black hose is leaking, and if it's like your black hose and it's just like, you need to fix that. It's cheap. A lot of times, so you're smelling it when you drive. It smells like maple syrup. Nah, you know what? The hose thing is like, a lot of times the hose leaks where that, like right where it attaches onto the motor. A lot of times it'll leak right there. And so what you got to do is a lot of times you got to undo that metal clamp and just push it on. Just push it on an extra like inch or two. You could have some kind of a, I don't know. Make sure your car's kind of hot. You know, put coolant in there. Put coolant in there. Another reason why you should fix it, comment G. Another reason why you should fix that is, let me tell you this, what's going to happen. It's probably leaking pretty fast, and you're probably constantly putting coolant in there, right, to offset this thing. It's coming out. Here's the thing, though. You're saving money, and you're probably not putting antifreeze or the proper amount in there. You're probably putting water in there. You're probably putting water. Okay, it needs more water. It needs more water. You know, leaking water. So what you're doing is you're putting water in there, and you're diluting this antifreeze, and pretty soon it's just going to be just pure water. But the antifreeze lubricates the water pump bearings. So if you keep just putting water in there, your bearings are going to go out in your water pump. Another thing is your car's probably running hot a little bit with that leak. Your car's probably running a little bit hot with that little leak on the hose. That's all I can say. The hose costs about $15. Get it from Amazon. All you got to do is, and the hose comes in the shape that it needs to be. Pop it off, put it on. I'm hoping that's all it is. That's all it is. There's usually like an intake rubber hose and an outtake rubber hose. But we're about to get another ring, brother. I know. But that's what I've done numerous times to fix it. Find your leak. Just get the hose and do it. All you need is like probably a flat screwdriver, nut driver. Anyways, Seahawks in the Super Bowl, yeah. But yeah, quickest fix. I'll just say it one last time. Undo that metal hose clamp if that's where the leak is, and just push the hose on more, and then tighten up the hose clamp, and then it's like boom. It's like getting a new hose. I see the Pats are a threat for sure. It's football, man, and they're good. I mean, I think people are overhyping the Seahawks a little bit much just to really try to make some sort of an underdog story. But the Seahawks do remind me of like the 2010, 2011 Legion of Boom Seahawks. And all the whole thing is because like you get a bunch of young players. It's a lot of talent, a lot of just raw talent. And they got to gel and solidify and work together and you're in. Another thing is like the defense always takes a whole thing for it to work good. You got to have a good pass rush to put pressure on the quarterback to throw these forced passes. And then with that being said, you got to have some safeties and stuff like that that can just really haul ass and get places. Corners. But a good safety. Another thing about the Legion of Boom defense is they played zone. They weren't even man coverage. They did zone defense. They lined up the same every time in the back. Basically, if your defense is good enough to play zone, you got to top your defense. They played zone. They lined up the same way. Sherman was always on the same side. The other corner, whoever that was at the time. Sometimes it was Byron Maxwell, Brandon Browner. So down with that other side was kind of rotating, but just play a zone defense, going like, and then boom, it's the same thing every time. I wasn't streaming when that choke happened. You're right. I was in Chicago and I was watching that game with my ex girlfriend and her brother and her mom. The Seahawks were like coming back. And then just set up to choke. Ironically enough, that makes that Super Bowl awesome. Because nobody would be talking about that Super Bowl had the Seahawks just won. But it's a big deal since it's like, what the fuck? Marshawn Lynch? I wasn't really mad. I wasn't mad. And the reason I wasn't mad is because I understand how football works. And a lot of things work in hindsight. The coach makes a bizarre decision, risky decision, and it works. And then it's, wow, that coach is a genius, mastermind. Give him a raise. Oh my God, put him in, give him awards and all this stuff, you know. But if the risky play doesn't work, which risky plays and risky things in all life doesn't always work, but if the risky thing doesn't work, then it's, oh man, they should have just took the 3 points. Oh man, they should have just punted it. Or, you know, it's always like a thing of what they should have done. You know, and that's how sports, that's especially football, that's how football works. It's like all hindsight, right? So I really don't fault Pete for doing that. But the thing is, though, is people would have just been happy losing the game like that. Would have just been like, hey, lining up. You know, Marshawn's getting the ball, but yeah, you were wrong. It was Rockabilly from Battle Cam, and that Bish time. It was Rockabilly. Yeah, Rockabilly. Yeah, Aussie was after Rockabilly. Oscillate. Where were you chatting with Bish at? I blow my nose. Is he somewhere? But Bish will 100% remember me, though. Bish. The video where you painted yourself blue is long gone. Streaming mobile works. Maybe it'll work better on StreamYard doing it, but it kills the stream if you start doing other stuff on the phone. Like pauses the live. And if you don't go back to the live in time, it just cuts it out. A1 must be in prison. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't think so. I don't think the A1 is equipped for civilian life. Like I don't to live in the free world, you have to be able to let things go. It's just what it is. You have to be able to let things go and understand that things are gonna not go in your way, and people are gonna do and say things that you're not gonna like. But if you're always trying to get people in line, or if you're always trying to avenge the disrespect, then you're not gonna make it in the free world. You know. She'll ask for money and then block you if you say no. Well, I'm glad Bish is doing it. And if I was Bish and I was talking to somebody, I'd block you too if you said no. I need money. Is that time chat still going, Hollywood? I think it was Big Chaos. I forget a lot of people's names. A lot of people, a lot of people change screen names and stuff, and it's hard to keep up. I used to be pretty good at remembering everybody. That was one of my. That was like one of my specialties. I don't know. I think Tiny Chat went down. They had another website that was kind of like Tiny Chat. Let's go Tiny Chat. Loading up. Select your gender. Got to select your gender. You got to select your gender to personalize your experience. Oh, looks like my old Tiny Chat room is still up and running. Yeah, it looks like Tiny Chat's going. I'm not sure about what I'll do for Super Bowl. I might not be home. Florida freezes with record cold temperatures. I'm out of here. All vinyl, no leather. Hollywood swing. This is my style. No, I'm playing. See you.